A powerful part of Schoology is the ability to add rubrics. You can add rubrics to assignments, essay test questions, discussions, or even assignments that you're going to grade offline, like a speech. So in here we're in an assignment, and you can see that the student would have the assignment at the top, and then they actually see the rubric you've created if you've got one attached to this assignment. Very helpful so that they know exactly how they'll be scored. When the student scores come in, like over here on the side, I can click on one that needs grading and take a look at this. And then I could grade the assignment, and if there's a rubric attached, there's going to be this icon at the top. When I click that, the rubric pops up. I can simply click on the grades, hit save, and now that has been automatically scored for that student. So let's take a look at how to add this efficient grading tool to an assignment. So here's an assignment we've created, this writing activity. We'll click the gear and go in and edit this. Now you could do this when you're creating it the first time, but let's say we already have it there and we want to go back. Now we have to have this in a grading category, of course. Otherwise you can't grade. So we'll call this writing assignments. And then instead of choosing numeric, we're going to come here and we'll choose a rubric. Now if we've already created some rubrics, those will appear on our list. We could choose one of those and reuse them. So maybe you have a standard rubric, or I could click create new and build a new one. As soon as I do that, the rubric editor pops up. Notice I can grab the corner and stretch it if I want a little more real estate to work in. I put the name of my rubric up here, so I'll say character essay. And then I add my criteria. And it's simply clicking into the cells and adding your descriptions. So my first criteria, they need unique character traits. I could add a description underneath it to add more detail if I wish. If I want more criteria, I come to the bottom and click the plus criteria, and then I can add another one. So I could say, is it complete? And you can have whichever criteria you want there. Now your grading scale appears. It scales to a default of 4, but notice when I hover I get a plus sign. I can click the plus and I can change that and add whatever I want. So maybe this is 5 and this is more excellent than the other one, or whatever descriptions you want it to be. That's totally up to you. If you want half points, simply click between and then you can add half points. And you'll notice it keeps growing and it puts your score down in the bottom. So we have 9 possible right now. You can have different numbers of grading scale numbers here as you do below. That does not have to be the same. If you want to add a standard, learning standard to it, click on learning objectives and drill down until you find the appropriate standard that you would like to attach. So this will be great for your mastery. It's a really nice way to be able to grade things that are not just test questions. So I click till I get green, I click add learning standard, and it's put in there. Notice I cannot edit this because I should not be able to edit the standard. That is why it's called a standard. It's the same for everybody. When it's the way I want, I simply hit create, and now that rubric has been attached to this particular assignment. I have a box here to decide if I want students to see it. I would generally want them to. And then it shows me which learning objectives are attached. Here's the standard, and here are the 2 that I created. When I say Save Changes, now that has been attached to that particular assignment, and it will be available for grading. If I would like to share my rubric or make it available to teachers in another course, I can click on Gradebook, and then I will go to Grade Setup, and then up on the top right, there's an option to click on Rubrics. I'll choose Rubrics. Here are the rubrics that are already in this class. So this character essay is the one that I just created, and I could come up here to the gear, choose that, and save it to my resources. This is like my file cabinet. So I can put it in my home collection, that's just for me, or I could choose a group. So if I'm sharing this with a PLC, I could share it into that shared area. If I have a subfolder, I would choose that off this list. Let me just put it in my home at the base. I'll save a copy. And now that has been stored up under resources under my personal files. And this is a nice way to make it available in lots of different places. So there's my character essay rubric. If I want to send this to another class, I hit the gear and I simply say add to course. I choose the course that I want it to go to. And when I click that, now that is an available rubric in that class. So here I'm in the class that I just copied it to. When I add a material, let's say I want to add an assignment. And I'd fill out all my appropriate fields, but when I come down here to scale or rubric, down here now I have my character essay as an option. I can click that and the exact same rubric I just created is available in this other class. It's a great way to share amongst your classes, reuse rubrics, or share with your colleagues.